from Charlotte, North Carolina, at a combined weight of over 660 pounds, Rody Rob, Adam Bomb, Bionic Brian, the Marked Out Wrestling Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another Wednesday edition of the Marked Out Wrestling Podcast. We're going to be discussing Who Won Wednesday. Of course, you know, last week we kind of focused primarily on AEW. So to balance it out, we're going to focus on NXT tonight. I mean, they had 3 championship matches where AEW was just, I mean, it was a fallout show from a pay-per-view. I mean, very low bar here. And I know one of our listeners, Phil, really likes it when we make sure we focus only on one show. So we're just going to talk about NXT tonight. No. We're back to normal format. I got my executive producer across the table from me, Rody Rob. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, it's good to be here tonight.
He's a great executive producer, but I'm the host here. I make the calls. We're doing our normal format. It's a normal week. It's a normal show. There's nothing on the horizon. We're going to compare them side by side, and to do that, I need the absolute biased one. Biased Bri, what's going on?
I'm just the biased one. I thought you were going to say, like, I need the absolute best, like Ricky Starks, you know, but no, you just said you need the biased one. I'm fine. How are you, Adam Bob?
I need someone to be biased.
You know what? You are my best friend. You were the best man at the wedding I never had. All these fucking things. And I got to get Mr. Minhomer on the board telling me Happy Veterans Day. I mean, you couldn't open with that. That couldn't have been my introduction. No, no mention at all, right? Just fucking me, right?
So for those of you that don't know, we want to wish a happy Veterans Day to our former host, Kiera. Thank her for her service and acknowledge her on the show. Kiera, if you're listening, thank you so much. Happy Veterans Day to you.
She doesn't listen.
Speaking of Mr. Minhomer and the others on the YouTube chat board, we got Sealer Stout, Daniel Price, Hall of Famer Stike Leather, Brian Bertram, Will Wagner is there. Did I miss somebody?
Happy
Maybe
Veterans Day to Stike Leather. Happy Veterans Day, Stike.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
So I was into Olive Garden today getting my free meal. Right?
Really?
Yeah, real quick. And and so this dude sitting across from us is drinking his margarita, and Kiara's like, "Oh, I want one of those." So she gets it, and he stands up, and she's like, "Did you?" Before she got hers, she's like, "Did you like that? Do you like that margarita you bought?" Which is a crazy question in itself, because no, I drank all of it. I fucking hated it. Right?
Right.
So,
like you're returning the meal when there's just the garnish left.
Right. So you might not get this joke. Kiara definitely did, but the dude came up and he's like, "You might not be able to handle it though, you know, because I was in the military." And I looked at him and I was like, "Dude, you know who says I was in the military?" He goes, "Who?" I said, "Not Marines. We say we were fucking Marines, and trust me, we win." And he laughed and Kiara laughed. I don't know if you guys get that though. So that's the end of my story.
Hoorah!
No, it's oorah, not
hoorah.
Not hoorah.
Yeah, Adam, come on, hoorah!
Whatever, Brian.
Yeah, they do have vegan breadsticks.
Brian, you're a draft dodger with that hip.
And
First of all, it's 2 hips, and no, that's not true.
The Parmesan eggplant was fucking to die for. Just want to put that out.
I can't imagine trying to help Brian out of a foxhole. Come on, man, we got to go to the next click.
Hey, no, I'm fucking
Brian's
limber now. Oh, okay. I just watched Terminator.
Once you get him in,
newest one.
Once you get him in,
the robots are taking over. So
once you get him in the foxhole, you're not getting him out.
Right, that's what I was saying.
There's no way to get him out.
No. I'm like Rambo. I'm like, I've been watching so many movies. I watched that newest Rambo where he's like all in the fucking ditches and shit. Have you seen it yet?
No.
It's like Home Alone. It's like a very violent Home Alone. Oh. It's awesome.
Awesome. Speaking of awesome, so we're going to run down the card like normal, find out who won Wednesday. We'll do some voting and we'll do some other stuff. We'll break down what we've talked about. Both shows, I feel overall, guys, had a good story feel to them in terms of building arcs, but it definitely felt like one was more wrestling oriented than the other.
I'm sorry, building arcs.
What about
Noah? We're gonna get some animals and walk them in and.
Do you really not know what the story arc is?
No, you didn't say story arc. You said it was going to be building arcs. I'm sorry. It's
story arc. Sorry,
Adam Almighty. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, you're good.
You really thought that I meant Noah's Ark.
No, I know what you meant. I know what
you
meant. I'm criticizing the way you delivered.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rob.
Thank you.
Sorry. Someone has to be the moderator.
Hoorah.
Thank you. Welcome, Evan, to the shit show.
You know, yesterday was my birthday, too. Happy 245th birthday to me.
To the Marines, not to you,
I'm
jackass.
A Marine. The Marines
you're an Aries. That's why you're fucking like this.
Marines are me. I am the Marines.
Okay. He is I and I am him.
All for one, motherfucker. One for all.
Slim with the tilted brim.
That's the Three Musketeers, I thought.
Yep.
Whatever,
Right?
Brian. You're D'Artagnan
E
to our
pluribus-
Three Musketeers
E
right now.
pluribus unum.
Do you get that, Brian?
D'Artagnan was the leader, right?
No,
Wasn't he tagging with Bebop?
no. D'Artagnan was
For
technically
Retribution,
the
right?
fourth Musketeer. He wasn't part of them.
The shy guy from Mario?
That's
Is
you.
that Chris O'Donnell? Chris O'Connell? Chris O'Donnell?
No.
No. Who was D'Artagnan in the movie?
We should do-
Gabriel Byrne.
We should do wrestling now.
Yes. So
Phil's getting pissed.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
sorry,
we
Phil.
should.
Wait, no,
We
Phil's
should.
my boy now. Fuck
No.
you, Rob.
Oh, yeah.
That's on behalf of Phil. I like Phil.
You give money to a Jew, man.
Yes, you give money to a
Is
Jew,
he Bomb Squad?
and he can be whatever he wants. He paid for it.
That's true.
Yeah, my sound effects don't work, so I couldn't
Oh,
have any exit.
Oh,
Sorry. We're going to
that's
do
something a
wrestling
good
now?
executive
Oh,
producer would have done
D'Artagnan
before.
was an apprentice musketeer, Daniel Price says. Like I read a book. If
We
there
are-
wasn't a comic form, I don't know.
We're just going to be a regular TV or morning show, radio show now. We're just
We just
Yeah.
ramble. Spin the wheel, Rob. Make a deal. But
Awesome.
today we're going to spin the wheel and find out who Johnny Gargano's opponent is. Very, very clearly gimmicked wheel by the fact that it rotated backwards at one point, and we find a taped-on Leon Ruff's name there. Man, that I thought this was going to just be another way to continue the Damian Priest and Gargano feud, especially when you see Priest ringside. But that's not what happened, Rob.
You know, let me just I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. What are we talking about again?
Brian,
Leon
would you
Ruff.
like to comment? Or are you paying attention? Because
I was paying
Am I
attention.
paying attention? Yeah, of course it was gimmick. The fucking wheel was
Oh.
gimmicked by the ghost of Tino Sabatelli inside of
yes.
the Capital
Let
City
me-
Wrestling Center or whatever
let
the
me-
hell it's called.
no, you had your chance. Let Brian talk.
No. Let me break
he can go, he can
kayfabe.
go.
Let me break kayfabe here and tell you how this happened. So we're about to start watching both the programs at the same time, and I use YouTube TV as my TV source,
Your provider.
my provider, right? And so at 8:00 tonight, YouTube, every YouTube platform in the world.
Not just YouTube TV, everything.
Right. Everything YouTube crashed, right? So me and Adam are sitting there going, we don't know how long this is going to be. What are we going to do? And we're like, okay, let's both get on Twitter, and we're just going to follow the streams on Twitter so that we can take notes and we can talk about it in the abstract, right? And so we both got spoiled for us the fact that Ruff won the belt. We both got spoiled to the gimmick wheel, the whole 9 yards. And that would have been such a great pop moment for us. I mean, that's a 1, 2, 3 kid thing going on there, right?
And we thought the schoolboy was the end because of that.
Yeah, we did. So we totally had the surprise of this ruined for us personally. So if you didn't, good for you. But I'll say that even with the surprise ruined, the finish to that match was fantastic.
It wasn't a 1, 2, 3 kid move. It was unique.
It was. And it was a great what do you call that move he finished with, Brian?
I don't know. I have to go back and watch it.
Okay. Well, he jumped up, put his arms in scissors, and then rolled him, slammed them back on his shoulders. So, anywho,
That's
Yeah.
Brian's
it was.
contribution.
We don't run down matches. Sorry, I don't know the fucking move name.
That's the All Elite Hour.
Oh,
brought to you
yeah.
by the Marked
Well,
Out
actually,
Wrestling
technically,
Network.
Oh, well, thank you for that. But no, well, that's on the NXT side, and we didn't really talk about NXT on the All Elite Hour. That would make sense.
I do.
Oh, so yeah, they're not going to cover it. Sorry,
I want to
boys.
put a bow on this, though. I just want to put a bow on this, though, and say
My
that,
bad.
Yeah, I want to put a bow on this and say that Johnny Gargano, for me, was becoming extremely stale. I didn't care for. I mean, I've seen his matches. He's a great wrestler, but it was just like, you're just not doing anything with him, and it's kind of lame. This kind of version of him has been attractive, and I'm not getting off physical there. It's just, I've enjoyed his segments so far, and I don't know if it's in spite of him or because of him, right? But I've enjoyed his segments. So if there,
I believe it's in spite of, but
okay. So, but the turn has been good, and it's even made me enjoy Damian Priest a little bit more than I did.
I agree with completely.
Which is a 2 versus a 0.
Yeah, so I do agree with especially that other part. They said crucifix bomb is what the board is saying.
Oh, that's
Stuck
right. I knew that.
and
I
Will
knew
Wagner.
that. I'm just, I'm blazed. Whatever.
So
I was watching 2 shows.
very good
Well, one
offering.
show, apparently.
A very crazy finish that we didn't see coming. And on the other side, we have we have Matt Sydal taking on Brian Cage. And Taz, I love you, bro. You're cutting the same promo now too often. It's the same promo.
Yeah,
It's even the same people. It's even the same digs. Oh, look, it's Sting with a skateboard.
Yeah, Brian.
It's still funny though.
Brian, you are.
Is it?
I
Doesn't have the same pop with me. Doesn't jiggle my belly now.
Brian, you're the only one out of us three that's on payroll for AEW. So let me throw this to you.
True.
Well, you must.
That's false.
He gets $9 a month
That's false.
You must
in royalties
Yeah, probably
from the Bucks.
So anyway, so Taz, and we can throw a cherry on top, and I know we're going to talk about it. But what's his fucking face that always talks all the time? That's
Ricky Starks?
No, end of the night.
Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston. Thank you. So Eddie Kingston and Taz. There was no reason to have them do anything on the mic tonight. I mean, commentary, fine, do that. That they can do fine there. But as far as having the mic and saying something, Eddie Kingston didn't say anything. Taz didn't say anything. They didn't.
Half of what Taz said was trying to build Seidel.
They didn't.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly the point. Taz was building up. First of all, he was building up Team Taz, obviously, and he was building up his opponents. He did. I mean, even Adam heard it. He was building up the other guys a lot when he was on commentary and even during his promo.
Yeah. Hey Taz, why don't you go out there and say a bunch of nonsense and then set up the most obvious segue ever, right? Oh, look at fucking Darby Allin, da-da-da. And you know what, Cody? And guess what happens? Darby Allin and Cody. I mean, it's so obvious. Are you so lazy that you can't tell a story and let it work its way, mature its way through to a consequence? So you have to get somebody out there and just basically juice it.
So let's talk about those two kind of consequences. You mentioned that Johnny was backstage pleading with Regal. This didn't count. It wasn't a contract, blah, blah, blah. And Priest is being funny backstage. That's why we're interested in him. But the consequence here is, and it's weird how it segues. We have this person, Jade, come out, talk shit to Cody. And I'm not glossing over that. We're going to come back.
That's a 145.
And then immediately after that, Cody and Darby are standing against Cage and Starks. And we find out that that's going to be a tag match next week. So this all kind of combines. We'll go back to the Cody and Jade segment with Brandy and all that in a second. But Cody he's conceded, which is something Trump hasn't done, that Darby won and is the champion now. He's conceded that, so that's fun. But why is Team Taz still involved with Darby? And now Cody is brought into this mix to keep his and Darby's shit alive. They're rivals. They're tag partners. They're friends. They're rivals. They're allies. These two are the most recycled little things. It's all surrounding Darby, and it's kind of weakening my interest in him. Brian, would you like to try to do anything on this? Because I know you like to spin it in some weird way.
Yeah, no, I always try to put a spin zone on things. No, as far as the Jade, her name is Jade Cargill. Apparently, I'm not familiar with her at all.
We're not going to that yet.
Well, all right, so we're not going to do that. That was a weird part anyway. But yeah, the whole thing with Darby and now Cody getting involved with it. The only thing I'm curious about is I want to see where Will Hobbs kind of fits in, because he came out towards the end.
Oh yeah, and then at the very end, he does nothing but come out and take his shirt off, Brian.
So what? I mean, it was hot apparently in Jacksonville. I heard it was muggy over there.
Have you ever been in a fight with one of your boys with your boys against another group?
I usually take my pants off though. That usually
No. I'm just saying, have you ever been in one?
That's how you get your hips off.
No. Well, no.
What was the question?
I've been punched in the head.
Like when you're with a group of friends and a fight breaks out with another group.
Yeah.
Okay, you've been in that, Rob.
Plenty of times.
Rob has, I'm sure.
Then there's that guy that shows up, the fight's over, and he's like taking his shirt off, like, I'm ready, guys. You're like, dude, it's over.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Where were you when it was being thrown down?
Great comparison.
That's Will Hobbs tonight.
Yeah.
He just shows up afterwards. Oh, I'm here.
So maybe he's in cahoots with Team Taz, right?
I did say that to Rob. I thought maybe he was going to attack him, and that was the point of his arrival. But guess what they did, Brian? They went to commercial, never to be seen again.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward. A
little weird.
Yeah,
it was a little weird.
If it's like if Hogan pinned Macho and won the title and then tore his shirt off, brother.
Yeah.
So I did.
Also, Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go on.
Go on. So I did like the stuff backstage, though, that happened after in the NXT thing. But it wasn't as consequential as what happened here with Jade. Jade comes out, sassafras. She has attitude for days, and she's going at Cody with it, which is very weird. And then Brandy comes out. And we find out that this is all because Cody said he was a giant killer. And so we've got a new 7-foot giant. She's teasing it the whole time. She gets up the ramp, and the big reveal, Shaq. This isn't even a wrestler.
Brian,
Is this what you were teasing, Brian, to me and
No.
Rob earlier?
No, not at all.
Brian,
Yeah.
I would
Rob.
like
No.
to
I,
talk with you about this
I see what you're doing.
segment.
Clearly she was scripted, is what he's saying.
No,
Well-
clearly she was not scripted. Clearly she was winging it. Clearly she would look. She came out first at a distance, looking like, oh, what's about to happen? This is good looking, and then it turned into last call for alcohol type situation.
Oh, wow.
And
Jesus, Rob.
I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go there. He's an angry elf. The promo was nothing. I mean, nothing was said. It was like if you punched
The one word was said.
It's like if
Shaq.
you punched William Shatner in the throat every time he said 2 words. And that's how bad it was of a promo. Right?
I have to.
Right, yeah, it was overacted as fuck.
It felt very Monday Night Raw-ish.
Very. And I thought she felt very much like Bianca Belair in her candor, attitude, and whatnot.
There was a little fourth wall break there for a second because Cody looked at his watch, and I don't think that was part of him trying to do his character. I think he was like, "This bitch is taking forever." You know, I'm sorry, and Cody not having a microphone.
That wasn't part of, you don't think that was part of it? That wasn't him. That was him like out of character for a second going, come on, lady.
No,
we're on TV.
I think that was him legit going, okay, yeah, you need to hurry this the fuck up.
I honestly got same thought too.
and here's where the mistake came in play. If you wanted to use her for this, fine. Cody should have had a microphone. Cody should have had a microphone the way that a driving instructor has a brake pedal.
Yeah.
That's how it should have been tonight.
So that he could, you're right.
Could get her through that without what we all had to experience on TV. Wow.
Which was tough.
I mean, that's like your first day of wrestling school. Hey, we're gonna do promos, you know, which is not something that happens.
Like
but
the belt falling off Leo Ruff.
I mean, that's perfect. That
Or
was
Leon
the most,
Ruff, sorry.
That's the most beautiful thing that happened tonight. But I'm sorry to go on and on. So. And I gotta
The board's talking about Rodman and Karl Malone.
Well, hold on. I do want to go there, but I want to say thank you to Brandy. Thank you. Brandy not only saved that segment, and
She was firing it.
right, and by saved I mean if the horses are about to tear your body apart, they still got 2 arms and a leg. You're right. She
still got
saved it.
1 limb.
Right, still got 1 limb. So she saved it. I love that side of her. So I'm done ranting now. But my God, what were you thinking, AEW, when you decided to do this? Jesus.
Rob got all excited with her talking about, you don't say that to my man and all that. Rob was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows I love me some black girl magic. I'm just saying. So.
Well,
she's
I'm not just talking
apparently,
about that. I'm talking about the attitude she showed and the way she came out and was like, you don't talk to my man that way. Like,
yeah.
Any
She's
woman
a
doing that's kind of
26-year-old
hot.
fitness model from Florida, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and she played basketball in college.
Yeah. So
what does that have to do with Shaq?
Paper bagger. What?
What does it have to do with Shaq? This is what's so funny. I mean,
who cares? I don't.
That's I gotta. Okay, judging these as a whole, because now it's time to vote. Judging these as a whole, I've got to be honest. I'm gonna go first here. Leon Ruff. The upset on Johnny Gargano, then now, like Rob said, kind of caring about Damian Priest a little more. I got to say that segment did a lot and was a huge push. Wild card. We didn't expect it. On the other side, it was the same old, Brian. And the one thing that was different, Shaq. Really?
Shaq.
Mike Tyson didn't look great when he was doing whatever with Jericho. I don't think Shaq's going to be much better. And if this is his mouthpiece, wow, even worse. So
Could you imagine? No. Could you imagine for a moment her being his mouthpiece, and then him occasionally saying something, kind of how Brock did with Heyman, right? We'd have to get through her first, right? Tear my fucking eardrums out. I mean, take the skins of my eardrums off and throw them away. Get through her, just so we could get to hey, Cody.
Indeed.
I'm gonna get you, Cody Rhodes. I'm gonna get you.
I mean, Shaq can't even. Shaq can barely talk in his own movies. I mean, on his fucking commercials.
He can barely talk at the analyst desk.
What
he's there because he's a former, Hall of Famer.
I get it. You want Shaq? That's cool. Put Shaq with Taz. Or get somebody to talk shit for Taz that can talk shit. And when I say talk shit, I mean, not actually talk, and shit comes out of your mouth.
Rob, I'm going to read something from the board, and I think it's going to amaze you.
Oh.
Something from Will Wagner.
Amazed by you.
Damian Priest feels like Brendan Fraser and Airheads to me.
Wow.
I don't like Brendan Fraser, but I like him in Airheads, and I like that movie. I don't like Damian Priest, but I like what he's doing currently in this thing, so I like that comparison.
Can Fandango be Adam Sandler?
Who's Encino Man?
This is Roderick Strong. I approve this message.
Oh, Brian's mentioning the one movie he's seen.
Lone Rangers.
I watched.
What's the
name
one where
me a
he's buried
second
underground?
Pauly Shore movie, not Encino Man, Brian.
Biodome.
Okay, name me a third.
In the Army Now.
Fourth.
He's nailing him.
Nobody
knows four.
Son-in-law.
Nobody.
Oh, Son-in-Law.
Okay,
that's
nobody
right.
except for you, Adam, knows four Pauly Shore movies.
What is the most
No one.
significant thing ever? I blew Rob's brain with this the other day about Biodome.
Did it made it to the theaters? Did it made it to the theaters?
No.
No, I don't know that they actually lived there while they were shooting it, and that's an unknown
It
fact.
is the debut, even if it's a cameo, it's still the debut of the Tenacious D.
Oh, you did.
Oh,
tell
no
me that.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. They're playing
is that
outside.
before they go to the Biodome? Is that the two guys? that
Oh,
are playing college?
Jury Duty. That one's good.
I
actually like Jury Duty. Anyway, I did my vote. NXT. Rob, I think, with his puke on the ground, gave his.
This is
Brian,
the greatest and best podcast in the world. Tribute.
We didn't hit record.
Oh no, really?
No, I'm saying.
Oh, I'm looking
that's
at
why
all,
this is
I'm
just a
looking at all the
tribute.
settings right now. Like, what? We didn't.
No,
This is
I'm
gold.
saying that's why this is just a tribute.
Oh, this is just a tribute.
We
No,
forgot
it's
to
officially-
record it. I wish you were there.
It's just a matter of opinion.
Fuck.
Good God.
All right, Brian, what's your vote? Not that we need it.
It's a clean sweep. I'm gonna have to go with NXT. That was pretty cool that they did that with Leon Ruff.
All right.
Although I did,
Oh,
I
damn,
did
we're
like
still in
that
the first
opening
segment.
Yeah. They each went like 20 fucking minutes, man. We're
right.
covering like a quarter of the show.
Okay, Phil, are you happy with all that conversation?
We talked. Wait a second. According to my watch, Rob, we talked about 30 seconds more about AEW than NXT. I think we might have angered the Phil.
Oh no.
Oh no! Don't
I'm
anger
gonna
the
be
Phil.
hiding under the desk.
Love you, Phil. Next segment, AEW losing 1-0 to NXT. Next segment, Atlas versus Escobar for the Cruiserweight Championship. Oh, talk about retread city. Joaquin and the rest of Phantasma, Escobar come out, or not Escobar. Oh, Joaquin Wild and shit. What's Mendoza? Raul Mendoza.
You're on a roll, bro.
Yeah, way to go, man.
Wow,
Keep
see
at
what
it.
happened? See what happened in that Cody promo? See what happened? She ruined you.
She ruined
She
me.
ruined you.
Ruined.
Anyway, it was a good match. But I feel like we've seen them fight already. We've seen these guys come out and help. We've seen him be a heel. What are we doing? Where on the other side,
This is the Butcher, and I'm a little blown up, but you did okay. All right.
I got a quick thing for you.
Bye.
I'm going to paint a picture for Brian and Rob here.
Paint it.
When you have a gimmick match, for the most part, it should be fueled in some way, right? There should be a build. There should be a reason that we have to go to this level of extreme, right?
There was.
Was there?
Yeah,
This is the blow off of the bunny thing. Is that what this is all about, Brian?
Yeah. Oh, you're asking me? Yeah, I thought you were asking
because
Rob. Yeah.
because it
you
seemed
were
very extreme for just
Yeah.
a Dynamite like We haven't really talked about this feud in a while thing.
Brian, if you were in the studio, you know who's talking to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. She ran up QT Marshall's credit cards. Okay, now he has debt up the wazoo. Doesn't have a
So
girlfriend.
the hog pen match made it all better?
I'm sorry, the Blade. What'd you say?
So the hog pen match made it all better?
It wasn't a hog pen match.
Wait,
okay?
why
Phineas wasn't. What?
Why am I? I'm hearing that we're hating on this. We're not. We shouldn't be hating.
Oh
on
no,
this.
I'm not hating on this. I'm
No, he's
trying
asking
to.
why-
I'm just letting
what the
Brian
reason-
go. I was asking the question, Rob,
Mm-hmm.
of how did it get to this level, this extreme level of we need to get in this type of match,
Level. I mean,
and that's what Brian was explaining when you interrupted him.
is this a level though, Brian? This isn't really a level.
What
She
do you mean it's
maxed
a
out
lot?
his credit cards, bro.
No, I get that.
Yeah,
but I
he
mean,
ain't got no money. He ain't got no credit
But you're
card.
saying that this feud has elevated to this level. I don't think this is necessarily a level. I mean,
I would say this is the blow off.
I mean,
right. So I wouldn't say this is going to keep going.
no.
No, this is the blow off.
I'm saying the match itself is a gimmick match. It doesn't mean that it was.
But that's what I'm saying. It was such a violent gimmick. Did it earn it to get there? Is what I'm questioning. I liked the match. I liked the match. I'm
yeah.
not criticizing the match at all.
No,
I'm
this
saying
is
this
like-
this was in the middle of the first hour of Dynamite.
Yeah.
To give you this level of match,
This is like bringing your wife flowers on a Tuesday for no reason. That's what this was. It was like, let's do this match. Okay, cool.
was it a tribute to his dad? Is that why? Just because it was a
Well, he's actually
bunkhouse-
wrestled in
No,
bunkhouse
but I know,
matches.
but I'm saying that the board's talking about '94 Dustin Rhodes versus Bunkhouse Buck at Spring Stampede.
Yeah, that was when they actually wrestled on a fucking truck. You haven't seen that one? They wrestled on a moving
that's
truck.
what that is.
Yeah.
I've
Yes.
seen clips of that. I didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what was that, Rob?
so some was on my head. I'm sorry.
Who'd you win?
So there's that.
So anyway, all this happened. It was a great match.
Daniel
I'm
Price,
gonna go
the
back
Butcher and the Blade are now the bitch and the bland. They can't even win a hardcore match.
Oh, let it go. Come on. Look.
That's mean.
No,
it
come
doesn't
on,
matter who
Moana.
wins.
No. Look, they are.
Well, if you're a
we
heel.
all loved APA, right? We always talk highly about APA. Everybody does.
Their record sucked.
APA did not win that many matches,
Hardly at all.
I
right?
think they were tag team champions.
Briefly. But
Like a month.
they would lose most matches, or they would just get disqualified, right?
Or they would just walk down to the ring and beat ass and leave. It wasn't even a bell.
Yeah. So I mean, let's try to put perspective here. We're like, oh, Butcher and Blade, because right now, who said that on the board?
I don't remember.
Okay, so whoever said that is sounding a lot like they've been listening to Adam too much. He's been putting that propaganda out there where you guys all think, oh, somebody loses and they're fucking they're ever never done. Their
That's
careers
not
are
what I
over.
said.
It's not my fault.
That's
They're gonna go.
not
They're gonna
what
do.
I
They're gonna go do
said.
triple threats to be jobbers.
All right, Rob, since you want to talk, why don't you give me your vote?
I go AEW on this one all day.
So do
NXT that was boring for me. I'm sorry.
And same reason NXT or AEW lost segment number 1. It was too much, of the same. This is too much of the same on NXT here. AEW absolutely wins.
We usually talk very highly about how NXT elevates their belts and their divisions for their belts, right? They systematically work on their tag division, and then they set it to the side, and they work on their women's division. They set it to the side. They work on their main division, and then they do it very, very, very well, so that it's always breathing, it's always alive, it's never dying off. For some reason, the Achilles heel of NXT is their cruiserweight belt. And I'm not hating on the champion. I'm not hating on the guys he's been in the ring
They don't know
with.
how to sustain anything.
They don't know how to build that division to any level of interest.
Yeah, sustain it. They get you. You're like, wow, this is cool. Like, I like the Swerve and Escobar feud, but now where are we going?
Yeah, so I don't know if they don't. I don't know what the solution to it is, honestly. Escobar's character is fine. I think Escobar's character needs to have a nemesis that is way more outgoing, way more loud and obnoxious as a face to make it relevant.
They're going to
like
take the Power Ranger down to NXT to fight him.
I mean, maybe. I'm just saying.
On the board, Will Wagner, he says, how come the Blade has to do the exercise for both team members? Is it because Butcher does the drinking?
He's drunk.
And for that,
Just the bad boy Joey Janela, and I couldn't agree more.
Joey agrees more. Brian, there was a tweet, speaking of Joey Janela, there was a tweet where he said something like if Biden won, he would start working out or something. What? I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. It was something like that.
So is he going to get in shape?
I sent that to you guys.
Yeah,
did.
that's why I'm asking you to cite it since you sent it.
I don't fucking remember. I send it, and then it goes out my brain. That's
of course,
it. I
there's
forget.
not the point of the conversation about you getting it. But yes, he did that tweet. Biden did win. And I don't foresee Joey Janela getting in shape. Do you know why? Because he's horrible. And horrible people are just horrible. So he's horrible.
Rob, you know what I got for you?
Thank you.
First coin of the night.
You know he's dating
not even doing trivia.
NXT wrestler.
Is he?
Rob.
Somebody's dating him? Really? I mean, he's
To impress a chick.
I feel like
do the
he would
hell
just
of the
smell like Arby's. That's what I smell
His
like
hair?
Arby's, huh?
His hair
No, it's probably greasy. It probably just feels like
He probably farts a lot.
smells like dreadlocks.
he just doesn't.
He looks like a guy who farts a lot.
Yeah. And you know, if he sees this and he wants to fight me, I've seen you fight. I'm
Joey,
down.
you fart.
Let's do it. You know.
We look like guys that fart.
So anyway,
I do
At
fart.
no point
he's,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
in your
he's not getting
rambling,
in shape.
I
incoherent
can't turn it off. Oh, there we go.
He's not getting in shape.
All right.
He's not.
So we got a tie, 1-1. Moving on.
Yeah.
This one should be kind of quick because on one side we have a win, lose, or draw contest with Loomis, and Thatcher shows up and whatever.
I'm sorry. Will Wagner says he's a cheese sandwich on the dashboard in July.
And on the other side, we have MJF and Jericho, and we find out that they're going to Vegas. I think this was an okay segment. My thing with the segment is I did find enjoyment in all the parodying of Trump that was going on there, right in front by MJF, right in front of fucking Jericho.
Oh yeah, it was funny. That was funny.
Jericho. MJF is clearly, Brian, and I know you caught this. He's clearly taking shots at Trump about how he was self-made because his dad only gave him $1 million.
Oh yeah.
You know, and all this other stuff, and he's been wrestling 5 years. What a long road! And I mean, there were so many little Easter eggs out there if you were paying attention. And the
Lots of
fact that he
parallels,
did
for
him, and he did him right in Jericho's fucking face.
I mean, obviously Jericho was, it's not something that really is going
Jericho
to
doesn't care that much.
anger Jericho. He doesn't give a shit.
He don't give a fuck.
Oh, you don't care that he
Nah,
blew all that money?
He's not a Trumper. He's just a Trump
$2,000,
supporter.
$3,000,
right?
whatever.
Oh, it's a couple thousand.
I'm wondering now, looking back on it, Brian, if
Pennies.
the whole thing kind of has been a mirror of the election. I mean, obviously they did the election stuff before, so it's been a mirror of the election. But if they're going to follow the path of the
Dictator
election,
John.
like
Probably.
right. So if MJF goes in there and then fucking, somebody refuses to leave and then, democracy falls.
Yeah, he's going to tell Sammy he needs to leave. Why are you refusing to leave?
Yeah. And Sammy's not going to leave.
So they're going to follow this all the way through.
By the way, Sammy's plane ticket when we get to next week, my little prediction is going to be coach while the rest of them are first class. That's my guess.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like he was going to be on a bus or something. Like he got him like a fucking
Oh.
Greyhound.
That's
That'd
better.
be good. Or a burro.
Burrow.
Toe the lines of racism there. So we have
Never have you apologize for that there, Sammy boy.
So we have win, lose, or draw with Thatcher and Loomis that's going to lead to a match later on. But basically, they're just staring down at the end here, and Regal's got to separate them, whatever. The Jericho and the Substance being building, for me, is going to get the win. Loomis never talks, and I don't care about Thatcher. So, AEW, what do you got, Brian?
You know what? I love your point. What did you just say? Can you repeat that? You said Loomis doesn't talk, and what?
And Thatcher
Doesn't win.
Yeah, I don't think they know. I don't think they know what to do with these characters they've built.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's only so much you could do with especially Loomis in NXT. He feels like way more. I could see him going on Raw or something. He's very gimmicky.
Yeah, Loomis
very
looks like someone who dies 70 minutes into a Die Hard movie, according to Will.
He's like the redneck version of Steve Blackman.
Steve Blackman. Oh, Steve Blackman. I was thinking of Steven Seagal.
Quiet.
Steve
never said
Blackman cut promos. This dude just,
Oh, Steve Blackman
he,
didn't
though?
cut promos.
he talked.
Promos.
He
he
talked.
might have
This
said
guy
like
doesn't talk at all. He Uncle Festers it.
Yeah, Steve Blackman talked not that much. I mean, there's a. If I'm given a window of error here, they still fall in it together. Okay,
Yeah.
as far as minutes talked. Yeah, no, you're losing your fucking mind.
DP says he's the lost Gruber brother, and his new finisher is the Nakatomi Tower.
Gruber.
No, not McGruber.
Anyway, so AEW's up 2-1. 2-1.
2-1.
I think we spent enough time on NXT, and we still have 45 seconds left.
Yeah, I don't know why we talked about those two for that long. That was
Well, I don't want to talk about this one too long, but
No, we
we're
won't- we
going
won't have
to.
to stop Phil.
what?
Brian, I didn't catch the name, and we were having internet issues. I don't know who the hell Raquel Gonzalez beat the hell out of. I don't have any idea what that other dude was that came out and wrote on his hand
He didn't
and
want it.
handed him a piece of paper.
I didn't see that part either. I was watching
All right,
AEW.
great.
So Phil, I'm sorry we did miss that one segment of NXT.
No, I just missed the dude's name. I watched the whole segment. I just described it. I'm saying I don't know who the dude was. I don't know what was going on.
Okay.
The match was canceled.
Yeah, match was canceled. It was supposed to be Xia Li.
Oh, and Raquel Gonzalez.
Right.
And he came and delivered. It's not going to happen.
Well, he came in there, yeah, and then got beat up by Raquel, and then the
Okay, see, that's what I missed.
and
That's
then
what I'm trying to
the
say.
Fugunaki warlord came in and basically damned him with ash on his hand.
All
Right,
I want to
it's kinda-
say,
it's like it's kind of getting kind of like voodoo-y or like supernatural.
No, it's Japanese mafia, bro.
Oh, like the Yakuza?
That's
yeah,
what
like
he
the
just
Yakuza.
said.
Right.
verbatim. He
Yeah.
even
No,
he
he
even said Yakuza.
Yeah.
Brian, I just admitted, full
What?
kayfabe, that I didn't really know what was going on the NXT side. I'm also going to go full kayfabe. Spoiler alert. They're going to get my vote without me really knowing what the hell happened there. You know why?
Mortal Kombat.
Because they're going against the Bucks and Marvez on the other side.
Babality.
Care to give your take on this? Because I can't with the Bucks.
Oh, you guys kicked me in the face.
I can't with the Bucks.
Go ahead, Brian.
No, I there's only so much that I can say. Actually, there's not even any of the words that I can say. No words that in the dictionary in any language will convince you guys to be Bucks fans.
Friendship.
So
for the love
I'm
of
gonna.
God, will you just let me and my brother
I knew
eat
it was coming.
lunch?
Good Lord, man.
I knew that was fucking coming. So I'm gonna forego my efforts tonight because I'm in a really good mood.
Babality.
Rob, do you want to discuss the Bucks saying sorry to Marvez at the end there? But basically, since Brian's too chicken shit to being the elephant in the room, and I know, Rob, you have a comment here.
Yeah.
Who totes that they have the best tag division in professional wrestling?
AEW.
AEW does. Would you agree with that, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So what do we do with the best tag division in professional wrestling? Let's bring in some people to fight for titles that don't go here. Who the fuck is Top Flight, and why should we give them title opportunities over your own fucking ranking system and your own roster?
Well, Top Flight has actually been working on episodes of Dark, sir.
You know, Top Flight's like when I go buy golf balls, that's like the one brand that nobody buys.
Yeah, they're
Top
cheap.
Flight. I thought Top Flight was cool.
No, it's like
in
yeah.
2000 they were.
I like
Yeah.
Callaway.
Yeah,
Yeah, calories are good. Yeah, I'm more of a Nike guy myself.
You
Hey,
look
so
they're so stuffed crust.
I feel like if you took our sound waves, our audio waves from this show, and you just went to one of our other shows and you cut out the part where we talk about the Bucks, I feel like you could take everything I said for the past 15 shows and just cut and paste into this show, and that could be my opinion because I don't want to talk about the Bucks. They got the titles.
Like the way we have Bob here.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not upset. It's fucking wrestling. First off, anybody on there is listening to us talk about shit. We are doing this for fun. It's just wrestling. None of us are getting really bent out of shape about anything. Anything we talk about at all.
Or
right?
these people as people.
Yeah. If I'd have a beer I'd have a beer with people with, well, not Joey Janela, not him, but anybody else I would. But the Young Bucks as
Brian
a
will
wrestling
have your
thing,
beer.
Brian, I just cannot. I have tried. I cannot get on that train. I do not find them entertaining. I find them exhausting, and I think that the way they're presenting themselves has been just horrible. There's no
I'm offended by
connection.
the no-sell party.
I mean, that's fine too. You can pick out little things here and there to hate. I agree with you.
Doesn't that offend you though?
The no-sell
party, but they're not the only ones that are culprits of that.
It doesn't offend. It doesn't offend me at Gorilla, PWG, or fucking or PWX. That doesn't offend me when they do no-sale parties there. Indie shows are supposed to be. They're big tent productions. They're supposed to be kind of off the wall. They don't have continuation. They don't have storylines that are going from episode to episode. They've got to entertain you in the moment. They can do corny shit to do that. That's acceptable. That's an indie show. That is awesome.
Will hit the nail on the head here. He says they don't want to bury their own roster.
That should happen.
Okay.
Give him a Roddy.
No, he already got one.
Yeah, no, look,
You got a Joey.
He's Dan Price. Well, Rob, then you might want to stay away from the people that compare them to the Rock and Roll Express. I do compare them to the Rock and Roll Express, but not as good. I enjoyed Rock and Roll Express. I enjoyed Rock and Roll Express, but they didn't have to do stupid personalities that don't fit their character or the trend line of their story. They didn't have to make the Rock and Roll Express came out there. They did a couple fucking high-flying moves, which at that time was fucking very unusual. They didn't overkill it. They weren't exhausting. They weren't
exhausting.
They were not exhausting. And I watched Rock and Roll Express my whole fucking life, so and don't tell me otherwise. You can compare them in look and some style only, but overall, no, you can't. So anyway, Brian, I'm going to end this.
It's a bad comparison.
It's a bad comparison. I'm just going to end this right here and say, I've tried every angle in my wrestling heart to like the Bucks, and I just cannot.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Because I just want to know like the scale of your hatred. The Bucks, and Mr. Wettest Hair, Roman Reigns.
Well, I don't hate the Bucks.
Roman Reigns, the guy with the wettest hair.
I hate Roman because I feel like he was a catalyst to what's been the worst decade of wrestling. I don't hate the Bucks. I just don't see what the big deal is. And I'm not interested in their segments. And I
feel like that's even worse. I'm like even more offended of that.
I mean,
that you don't understand how good they are.
My thing is, Brian.
They do. Hey,
Brian,
everyone does the no sell party or whatever the fuck
Brian,
you call it.
We have talked about this at great length. Been very, very, very critical of the women's division and how they're outsourcing talent instead of building their own division and instead of pushing and working with who they have on their existing roster.
They're bringing them in. No,
they're bringing these talent in when they claim that they have the best roster. That would be like NXT.
No, I think you're off doing that. You're off here. You keep going back to this point, and you're wrong. I'm sorry. You're just factually wrong here. There were observers at the polls. They have been on Dark, as Brian has said, and they are AEW talent. Just because they mentioned that they saw them in the Indies doesn't mean that they're not building them on their roster. So your premise is wrong.
Okay, but they are. Okay, then they're falling in the same path of another champion, that chip match where there's no chance of these guys winning. There's no Leon Ruff factor.
Okay. No, fine. No, that's fine. They're gonna
and Daniel
they're
Price,
gonna job them. Who cares?
What about my rankings comment?
Well,
I'm not wrong though. Why even have rankings if the teams that are in line aren't getting the shots like they're booked?
That's a good argument. What you're saying is not. That's a good argument.
I think they're one and the same.
Brian,
say this too.
Yeah. Let me just ask you this question, and I'm going to be real now. With the Bucks, they're so special. The things they can do. They're so great. They're so great. The things they can do. I'm thinking back right now on most tag teams that I can remember through my life watching wrestling. I'm thinking back on them. And I'm thinking back on the good ones, the really good ones, and even the bad ones. And honestly, in comparison, Young Bucks do not in any kind of way stand out to me as being either unique or extraordinary when it comes to talent or somehow the next big thing.
You have teams like Kidman in London that were better. I mean, not even big names.
Kidman in London.
Well, the lore.
I mean, no disrespect. I love Paul London. All right,
the lore.
Anyway, the skill alone of those two, they told a story in the match.
The lore of the Young Bucks.
Never do.
The lore of the Young Bucks is nothing more than a marketing campaign. Everyone thought, oh no, there's this team on the indies, and they get a lot of jobs, and they're fun in the ring, and WWE wanted them, and they said no. Ooh, they said no. And then they came on social media, and they told everyone, we said no. And now everyone's like, ooh, look at them telling the man no. So now they're special. So now when they do a double flip in the ring.
Generation Me.
Now when they do a double flip in the ring, which 99% of tag teams could probably do that move if they work together. Now they're doing they're doing these fucking flips in the ring, and all of a sudden they're heroes to the industry because they told the man no. But it's all a con. It's all a myth. They're not that good. Their promos aren't even that good. Their promos are fine. You know, they can talk. But they're not that great, and they're not extraordinary in any kind of way.
They're passable.
Now, FTR is extraordinary.
I agree.
FTR is above the level. When I think of tag teams of the past, FTR stands out to me as what could be one of the best if they were put in the right positions. In no way, in 20 years, am I going to look back and say, my top 5 tag teams of all time, are the Bucks going to be even close to my top 50? I'm sorry.
Insane.
I'm sorry.
You're insane.
Okay.
You were gonna eat your words, sir.
Okay.
All right. There's a reason why they every single fucking company they go to, they win championships. Okay. There's a reason why.
Because they're
spot monkeys.
They're a draw.
I'm stealing from Daniel Price,
and
but they're
also
spot
the reason
monkeys.
why a lot of these teams that you say can do all the same stuff that the Bucks do, is because the Bucks were fucking doing these tag team moves 15 plus years ago, bro.
Daniel Price reminds me. You want to talk about 15 plus years ago? Motor City Machine Guns were doing this shit.
Sure. And
Okay.
I'm sure that they've inspired them too.
Motor City Machine Guns have never gotten the same level of love that they should.
Eddie and Chavo were doing this shit in the 90s.
Dude, lots of teams were. The Hardys were doing this shit in the early 2000s.
Well, and obviously the Hardys are
Kendrick and London
too. You keep going back to Kendrick and London. Kendrick and London.
Yeah, you keep doing that.
The board was talking about him too.
Bottom line is the Young Bucks are nothing.
You guys.
The Young Bucks are nothing but a Trump, essentially, a marketing machine. No real substance.
A T-shirt.
Nothing
T-shirt
really extraordinary.
machine.
Just a marketing machine.
I don't know where this is coming from. I did not prepare myself for it to happen.
It's coming from the reality of the world, Brian. Jump on in. It's fun.
No, I will not jump into your
That escalated quickly.
Oh, what was
shit
that?
stain. Did you say shit stain?
Shit stain.
Are we getting
that's
personal?
that's not what I was going to say. I was trying to hear what sound effects Adam was playing.
All right,
I
I gave you the good. I'm trying to move on. 2-2.
No, this is bullshit. All right,
2-2.
New Japan,
2-2.
fucking AAA, Dragon
2-2.
Gate, Ring of Honor.
Shut the fuck up, Brian.
I've had a lot of jobs in my life too, Brian.
Moving on. Next matches: Spears versus Scorpio. Thatcher versus Loomis. Thatcher versus Loomis was what it was. Grimes interfered at the end, put a bag on Loomis's head, and watched him be blind and chase around. That was clever. And Spears and Scorpio had a good match until Tully interfered and had some fuckery, put some metal in the glove, and knocked Scorpio out cold.
Good old-fashioned heel shit, Brian.
My big fucking takeaway, Brian. You listening, Brian?
The big takeaway.
Good.
Fucking Scorpio needs to be pushed again to the moon. We talked about this when he was doing his feud with Jericho, and I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I believed that he was going to get it there. And then he's been doing it, not just what I've read, but I'm sure you'll back it up on Dark.
Yep.
Scorpio deserves some love here.
Honestly, both of those guys do. I feel like this is a feud of both of the guys that deserve a push in AEW. So if there's a way that if both of them can come out of this looking great,
there is. I mean, you did it tonight.
Well, exactly.
Spears got the win, and it did nothing to damage Scorpio. He got hit with a fucking
it was an awesome match.
foreign object.
Really good match.
I love how you marks are talking like future tense, like he needs to get a push. Right, this guy, they need to really feature him.
They need to invest in him. He's a fucking great talent. He cuts a great promo, and he can go with all sorts of wrestlers.
Oh my God, you couldn't let me get to my second sentence.
Fuck no, I couldn't.
Oh my God, my point was going to be there, Cocksmoke-a-lot, is that he's been getting pushed. He's been getting TV time. He's been getting paid because he's been in a lot of matches. He's been featured. I'm just saying, just because he's not fighting for a title presently doesn't mean that he's not already being pushed. He's in the upper echelon of the singles division.
Ninja, please.
Only on the rankings. That doesn't earn you title shots, Rob.
No, even in
Well,
our
it
minds. We're talking about him right now because he's in that position. We didn't just see him have one or
But
two
he's
matches.
been on Dark for months now. He's
So,
in that position.
It's their. Why does Dark have to be so bad, right? Why is Dark?
It's not a bad thing. I'm saying
not
though
bad.
that
It's really
he
good.
hasn't
Right.
been introduced properly to the audience here. They show Darby every week before he was even champion, sitting in the rafters, wrestling, cutting a promo, doing something.
The first
a
3
vignette.
months, the first 3 or 4 months of Dynamite's of AEW's existence, he was a major player in many different fucking feuds, from tag teams to singles. What do you mean we haven't been introduced to him? He's had dinner at our house of fucking 20 times. He's dated our sister. We know him, and he's continuing to get a push. And I'm sure they'll have a direction for him. But to sit here and say that he needs to get pushed, come on, he's already.
Scorpio dated your sister?
I can't. Yeah, I can't even talk to you.
Okay.
So I don't give a shit about Thatcher and Loomis, as we said earlier. So my vote's going to be Spears and Scorpio, especially the fuckery. I think you did both characters justice tonight. Rob?
Agreed.
AEW.
There we go.
Yep.
3-2. It's unanimous. I know Rob's been waiting and dying to talk about this, so we're going to do the NXT side first. We have Candice LeRae and Toni Storm battling. It ends with Ghostface, Indy Hartwell. Wow, the fucking weakest reveal. We knew that was you. You blatantly told us before she put on a mask. And then Shotzi comes out and also gets him. You weren't paying attention to Candice and Johnny. That's why.
She's hot.
She bought him a TV. She helped her out in the Rumble, other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Shotzi gets interfered here, and a lot of chaos ensues. Tony and Shotzi are kind of against Candice and Indy at the end. I'm sure we'll see a tag match in that future. On the other side, what do you want, Brian? Go on.
Oh, no, I was just saying play
was
because
having- he
you
was
said
having fun.
tag team match. So.
Yeah. So, Rob, you got your sound effect ready? Because on the other side, it was Anna Jay taking on Red Velvet. What'd you think of this match? Not Anna Jay. Anna Jay was ringside. Tay Conte gets the win. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
They had a match.
Jiu-jitsu.
Red Velvet, 5 years professionally. Tay Conte, 3 years professionally. So these guys, this is what
These
girls.
Girls,
This is what I've been
Just
bitching
girls.
about for a while, Brian. Why don't you do this more? And of course, this is the only women's segment for the Dynamite tonight. But
I
you
was
do
really
have
hoping
two
they were going
girls.
to break that streak.
Yeah, it's still the only segment. At least you've got two new players. You're featuring, some people. Well, not new players, but I'm saying, not the usual suspects.
What other women's segment was there?
There wasn't.
Brandy and Shaq's girl.
Oh my God, that wasn't a women's segment. That was Shaq and
That's a
Cody,
women's
and the
segment.
wife
No,
and a
that's
handler
also
came
a
up.
women's segment.
Why did you put that segment back in my head?
Right?
Sorry.
What
Way
kind of
to-
friend
way
are
to
you?
ruin everything.
That's what friends are
we
for.
had done.
It's good to block bad things out.
For good times and bad times, I'll be on your side. Hey, so I didn't realize that there was a match on AEW. I'm sorry to our one woman listener out there. I'm gotta be me for a minute, and I gotta tell you that ring was just on fire with sexiness. It was. I mean, not only did you have, Red Velvet, and then Brandy on ringside, and Anna Jay on ringside, and fucking Ty Conti, who doesn't hate any of that. I agree with you. There should be more representation of women throughout the night on AEW. But if they could only give me one segment, I'm gonna say I appreciate the effort here. So
Okay. I thought it was a cop out on the NXT side. Candice and Tony not seeing a conclusion. The reveal of Indy and then the involvement of Shotzi. It felt too Teddy Long. It felt too main roster. I hate when they do these Frankenstein one-off tag match whatevers for the women just to get 4 women on TV. We're criticizing AEW on one side for only putting 2 women on here, but here you're forcing 4 women into a segment that should be 2.
No, come on, man. They didn't force him in this. It was a good segment. First, it was a good match, right, between all four of them. And to address Will Wagner, who says Storm and Candice is no slouch. No, NXT was definitely on their hot train as well.
That was a much better match.
Yeah, it was much more.
No disrespect to
the
Velvet
wrestling
and
was
Conte.
much more the focus on NXT. But yes, no, I am good either way.
I had a lot more invested on the AEW side.
Right. So
is that where you're going? Because I would go more with the NXT side because I think.
But what I'm trying to say is the situation, the setup, the match, the aftermath. This was good, and it had consequence to it. Whether you knew it was,
what is the consequence?
Well, Indy Hartwell's with.
I thought you were talking about the AEW side. Yeah,
No,
I know
no.
the consequence on NXT.
Well, that's what I was saying because you were kind of dogging it like this is a stupid setup. And
no, that's where I was going to go with the vote. Is that the Candice. She was a contender. She's no longer. Rhea's battling Io right now as the program. You're trying to get these other women some time. Tony's being reintroduced. Shotzi's being kind of elevated from middle women to top women. So you've got a lot going on there. On the other side, Velvet and Conte were great, but what is it for? The rankings mean nothing.
That's the thing. No, and also it's Ty Conti because I was calling her Tay Conti. I think was she Tay Conti in WWE?
She was Taynara
Conti, right? But Conti is flirting with Anna Jay, as you saw, and the whole Dark Order. So they're trying to recruit her. So
That's
if you're
true.
talking consequence,
Yeah.
there's a little bit there as far as that goes with the Dark Order.
So both are building a feud away from the title is basically what we're saying. Both are having a storyline away from the belt in their division.
No, absolutely. And the problem here, the difference between the two is the NXT, we know they're going to devote one of their future shows in the next week or two to more solidify what the women are doing on their division, including this rivalry. AEW in 2 to 3 weeks from now are probably still going to just have one women's match that has little to no consequence.
Yeah. Will Wagner with the Mel Brooks line. That's funny. She doesn't look Conti. You're hilarious. So what was your votes, guys, Brian and Rom?
Oh man,
it's my God, you're gonna make me vote?
This is
I already voted for NXT. You guys got to give me yours.
That's what she said.
Overall, AEW's up 3-2.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with my heart and AEW.
So
you just pulled a Mac.
So is the premise of the vote though?
I had 2 flowers.
What is the premise of the vote? Is the premise of the vote best segment, or is it wrestling more
overall? Which one wins?
Overall, but am I looking at wrestling here?
Wrestling, consequence, everything. The wrestling, everything, all in one. You can even add a giggity factor to it if you need to.
Yeah, see, that's where it gets tough for me.
Well, the giggity factor is all in any match, right?
Right.
It's just preference, really.
Right. I
know Brian likes Tony.
I preferred AEW on the giggity side, but I have all respect for NXT on the giggity side. So if we're going giggity, okay, I got to give it to NXT. I thought NXT, the wrestling was great. I think the build of the story and continuing the feud to set up for future storytelling, I thought that was really good. And the giggity factor is also present on NXT. So with those 3 powers combined, I am going to go to the bathroom for about 3 minutes.
Okay, so real quick, we've got to segue to the next one now that it's a 3-3 tie. I just got a text from Phil. He says that was equal time, so we need to just move on.
Daniel Price, I think it's getting bigger. I just want to say that.
All right, so here's a fucked up, the real parallel here toward the main events. We got to hear Make a Fuck talk for a minute before he goes on commentary. And then we have to hear Kingston talk for a minute before he goes on commentary. McAfee, I'm cool with you, bro, but we're in a pandemic. You already, I fucking despise and loathe you. Now you're going to tell me your brand is worth $150 million? Well, I don't even have 150 in my bank account. And when I say 150, I don't mean 150 million like you. I mean like $150. Yeah, possibly pennies by the time the overdrafts hit.
Dollars.
So, you already have my hate every time you open your mouth and do the same little mannerisms that make me want to fucking punch you in the dick. No, sorry. I do want to punch him somewhere, though. Anyway, he's doing his role to perfection. I hate him so much that he's doing such a good job there.
Yes.
On the other side, Kingston was much shorter and sweeter this time before going to commentary table.
Something.
basically, I'm still relevant, is what he tried to say. And as we progress through these segments, we'll find out that he might be. He might be. But staying on the AEW side, Breezango taking on FTB for the brand is what I'm calling them. FTB, I don't know. Drake came out and tried to help even the odds. Pete Dunne beat the fuck out of him. Breezango loses. And Brian's boys, Lorcan and Birch, still standing tall. Obviously, we all see the writing on the wall here, guys. This is leading to War Games with Undisputed coming back.
Yeah.
You know,
Does that mean, so you think McAfee is actually going to be wrestling in a match?
He already has. He's wrestled Adam Cole. Nobody wants to see the rematch.
I mean, in like a match like that, it's one thing to wrestle in just like a one-on-one like that.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, I think he's
in that. That's going to be terrible.
And I think he's going to dive off the top of the cage.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Like
Look, here's my problem with this whole thing. And
tell me your problem.
I want to give just due to McAfee. I mean, you're right. He's played his role to perfection because we despise him.
Hate him.
Right. And he's not a bad talker, although he's long fucking winded.
Yep.
My big problem here is the NXT has never needed to do this. NXT in the past has never needed to pull some rando celebrity in to
and give them this level of push.
Right. No, it's never been needed. You have great talent on your roster. You know how to tell stories. You know how to give matches. You know how to book. Stick with what you know.
You're raking him up tonight, boy.
I'm telling you, man.
Every one of those was a fucking argument. See, Brian, have you ever really listened to Rob? When he makes a point, he backs it with facts, he backs it with a little passion, and he sticks to answering the question. Mm-hmm. You don't do any of those. Just saying.
Or I'll mention the Ascension and or the Eliminators, but
yeah, those are your go-tos for conceding.
Yeah, and I hate the fact that on the NXT side that this was like this is really like your main thing. Like Pat McAfee is involved in your like big time storyline right now, or in your big time angle. Come on.
I mean, it is, but the Pete Dunne factor is cool. He's got history with Undisputed. The Birch and Lorcan getting a push, that's cool. They needed some character to them, but yeah, I mean, I hate them all by association now.
Yeah, you could have brought Dunne back a different way.
Right.
He would have been relevant no matter how you push him. If it would have been like Finn does a promo next week, and then at the end of the night, as the credits are about to pop, right before it goes to black, he just comes out fucking on the fucking ramp.
Stike thinks that if Ridge Holland wasn't hurt, that he would be the fourth, and McAfee wouldn't be in the War Games match.
Honestly, I really don't think McAfee's going to be in it. I think they're going to find a fourth, and McAfee's just going to be the mouthpiece.
Okay. Well, I mean, either way, I don't care. I still despise.
Right. I'm with you.
That are using him.
I agree with that, Rob. But on the other side, I got to be critical here on the offering. In the last month, it might have been 3 weeks ago, but it's definitely within the last month, we've seen the Lucha Brothers fight each other. And it was early on, and we said when it was at the first hour, when it was at 9 o'clock, it was that main event.
Yeah.
We said it should have been the main event.
Yeah.
Here we are less than a month later, it's the main event. Well, why are you doing this again? Why?
Yeah, Brian.
I like the payoff at the end to set up Pac and Kingston, but why did you need to do this match to set up Pac and Kingston at the end? You didn't. You didn't.
I didn't even.
No, hey, you're totally right. But I mean, really, you're right. I think the only key thing that happened with that with Kingston and the Lucha Bros was at the end when he was trying to kind of blame it on like the. It's almost seemed like.
Did you hear what I said, Brian?
What?
I have no problem with the end. With Kingston and Pac and the setup and all of that. I'm saying...
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about how Kingston was like pinning them against one another, not even having anything to do with Pac.
He said, you don't need him. He holds you down. I get that. I get all of that. Like he was... And then here comes Pac, to reclaim his Death Triangle guys. And this is obviously leading to Butcher, Blade, and Kingston taking on Death Triangle. Mm-hmm. I saw all of that. I'm saying, why did you have to do this setup? The Lucha Brothers could have, as a team, fought anyone, and you could have had the same outcome at the end.
Sure. I don't know. Maybe something's going to happen next week. I don't know. Maybe this is part one of a 3-part book. I don't fucking know.
But this is supposed to be new. This is supposed to be fresh.
No,
this is
no,
supposed to be
no. Okay, that's
the
fucking
alternative.
No.
And
What do you
we
mean
got a
it's
lot of
supposed
recycling tonight. The never-ending Darby and Cage feud
Yeah.
with Starks and now Cody's there.
So
we got to bring that back around because he
this
fought Cage.
This whole segment could have easily have been the bottom of this first hour, right? It could have
Exactly.
closed
Should
out.
have flip-flopped.
Right. That even includes the Pac the Pac appearance. It is a big Pop moment. It is a holy shit he's back moment. I don't know quite how they tied them in together. Maybe I missed that. But that could have closed out the first hour even with Pac. My problem here is that this is your premiere show, your weekly show, and you blew off your TV champion in the first hour, right? So he's gone.
Yep.
You're the TNT champion.
Mox and Omega were only in vignettes.
Omega's walking through the parking lot. Mox is in a vignette, right? The Bucks are like, hey, Marv, and then now we're going to fucking leave, and we're going to tell you we're going to fight these guys next week. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
No FTR.
No FTR. So I'm thinking about all these people. We didn't see Hangman, right? Again,
Saw very few losers.
right. So
Cody and Jericho.
you're
only
telling me
ones.
that we didn't see Archer. There's so many people that we didn't see tonight that could have been like honestly.
We saw Will Hobbs come to the Knot Rescue.
Yeah, I think they could have better produced the Ring of Honor or the Inner Circle induction and made that the main event situation, and maybe taken this out and put in something with somebody else, right? Somebody else on the roster, maybe, possibly, even a little bit. Another women's segment. Maybe they address their women's title
are insane
in some kind of way.
You are insane. See, this is the problem with you guys when you're hating on AEW is that if the Cody segment was last or if the Bucks were last, you'd be dogging them saying like, oh, look at them, they're EVPs and they have to be in the main event segment.
No,
yes,
I've never said that.
So they can't even win. There's like
no,
ugh.
that's not true.
Yeah.
Wait,
You're
don't,
like a
don't
fucking,
throw the EVPs into this. This is a booking decision by somebody.
Yeah.
Not necessarily blaming them.
TK, bro.
That they're rehashing a less than month old match again.
That was a great match first time I saw it.
And this one was too.
It was.
I thought this was actually even more
but I
physical.
would have rather waited 6 or 7 months. Like Dominic Dijakovic and Keith Lee, they spread their matches out. They ended up having 4, I think, in total. But it was across a 6 to 8 month time span.
Yeah.
Here is 2 in a month, no change in stipulation, like Dijakovic and Keith Lee, there was times that it was for a title, there was times that it wasn't. There was times that it was, this is just last time it was for a tournament. I get it. That's cool. Now there's no consequence here.
So I know I'm going to get flack for this, but let's look at Shawn Spears for a minute. Shawn Spears had a middle of the show match that lasted 5 minutes. Against who did he fight again?
Scorpio,
right.
Yeah.
Sorry, against Scorpio Sky, the guy who you guys are saying they need to push him, right? And Shawn Spears, if you didn't know this, has a record of like 14-1.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently this is a company where wins matter, and I don't believe he's even in the top 5. Maybe I'm wrong, but to not have somebody of that level with that record going against somebody else of that level, not maybe the main event, I think it was a mistake.
Or the Jericho segment, which was in the middle of the first hour, could have been the end here. Hey, we're going to Vegas. It's just a simple, sweet ending.
Yeah.
You put Spears and Scorpio as your buffer
to that
right before that little segment, and that's how you close your show.
And you
but they're trying to push Pac, and they're trying to make that seem like that's
fine. Do that at the end of the first hour.
Yeah, it's fine. You're still
No,
gonna pop.
Do it at the end. Do it at the end. That's why they did it at the end. They wanted to make it seem like he was bigger than it is.
Instead, they ruined it. I think they did it wrong. They tried to make it bigger than it was.
There's a difference between TV main events and indie show and live show main events. And this may have been a live show or indie show main event. These are 2 top talented fucking wrestlers that you want to see go at each other in these. But for TV,
now that you're not wrong about.
For TV, you want to tie a bow on top of your fucking program. And this Pac being back was great, but it doesn't tie a bow onto anything. Kingston came back from a loss last night where he said, "I quit." He had 2 luchadors fight each other to prove his dominance, which was a bad sell. And then all of a sudden, Pac comes back like, I got you, motherfucker. And why? What's the setup here? What's the reasoning? Why did this?
He wants his faction back. But here's the other thing. Will Wagner's trying to say you couldn't have put the Inner Circle at the end because of the Sammy stuff after. No, here's how you do it. You bookend it. You put the segment without Sammy. Then you have the Scorpio match with Shawn Spears. Then you come back with them celebrating, about to leave to go get on a plane to Vegas. And then Sammy walks in.
What he's saying, what Will's saying, I think is better than what you're saying. I'm just being
not
honest.
if you had to book what happened tonight.
I know you'll never admit it. I know you don't like to admit you're wrong. But,
No, he likes his idea way better.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Will was thinking, I don't know where the fuck. That's exactly what I was going to say. Holy shit. He said Eddie Kingston is AEW's Tracy Morgan.
You shut the fuck up. He said that before, and you've reacted the same way before.
Every week.
Oh, my God.
Every week.
Check the motherfucking tape.
Lay off the keys,
man. I think I might be losing my goddamn brain.
Yeah.
Get
the fuck out of your dungeon underground, wherever you've been holed up with Ted Kaczynski.
You know what?
And come back to reality with your friends.
He's up there near New Jersey, and D.C. and New Jersey are both legal now, so that's what's going on. He's
because of the runoff?
Thanks a lot, Bob.
No, that's Georgia. We need you, Georgia.
Georgia.
Georgia. All right,
Hasn't
so
he said that every time? Holy shit, that's like blowing my mind.
Who's gonna win here in the main event, guys? We're tied at 3-3, so we can kind of also, make this be who's the winner of Wednesday here. This kind of carries a lot of weight here, especially with a 3-3 tie. Which of you would like to go first? Oh wait, we did a drawing backstage that Brian wasn't for. So Rob, you by default get to go first.
So am I picking the main event of AEW or the main event of NXT?
Who won Wednesday, Rob? That's what you're picking.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Who won Wednesday?
This is part of that vote. This is going to swing it.
Yeah, I feel like if there was a bar fight going on, NXT landed a whole bunch of blows and AEW swung a lot, but they didn't connect many. So for me, based off of wrestling, based off of storytelling, based off of consequence as a whole, and based off of booking, frankly, NXT this week absolutely, and this is not for you, Phil. I'm not doing this for you, but NXT absolutely 100% dominated this week. They might not win the ratings, but as far as a wrestling fan goes, side by side, NXT destroyed AEW this week. I'm sorry.
Fair points. Brian, make your case before I decide.
Rob, I agree with you that NXT had a good show tonight. It definitely had its strong suits, especially the opening match. However, you did say something. Thank you. You did say something that kind of struck a chord with me. Was that when you compared AEW to, you said there's a difference between doing a live TV show and an indie show,
and a
right?
bingo hall under 10.
I think you're right. I think tonight definitely felt a lot more like it was an indie show how it was booked, and I think that's kind of why I like it. Like you say it it's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing.
If indie shows were meant to be on TV, they would have been on TV. They wouldn't have been sitting in your high school gymnasium. They would have been on TV if people wanted to watch indie shows.
People would have heard of BJ Lawton.
IWTV.
Hey, everybody.
Shout out
Rob
BJ
wins.
Lawton. IWTV.
I love indie shows.
Let him finish his argument.
Sorry.
Okay, you have Impact Plus. You have all these streaming capabilities. That's why these indie shows, all these indie companies and stuff, they can kind of hold their own with WWE right now because it's all empty arenas. So everyone has the same capabilities. Just a matter of putting out a good product. Look at Impact. Look at Ring of Honor. Well, don't look at Ring of Honor. Don't
look at TNA. Oh, don't.
No, I
NW. No.
I agree.
MLW is going to be doing great.
I agree that with the televised products, that it's in equal footing right now, with minor exceptions. I agree with that. But if you're talking about your PWXs and your PWGs and your Iowa South Wrestling and all these Evolve and all these, well, maybe not Evolve. I think that's gone. I think that dissolved.
Yeah.
With all these indie shows, and I have much respect for all these indie promotions, and I love their products, and I enjoy going to their shows. This is not a dig on that brand. But if that was a brand that you could market on television or as a TV program, it would have been on TV by now after decades and decades and decades. AEW is on television. There is a certain responsibility to certain levels of success. You know, I can, at a lower position at my job, I could probably fuck around a lot more, go and hide in the bathroom and sleep for fucking an hour and get away with it. But a position that I have elevated to, I can't do that. I have to conduct myself in a much more professional manner. AEW.
I rolled everything over to my phone so I can answer from the bathroom.
There you go. AEW, they just, sometimes they are at that level, and sometimes they are showing themselves to be incapable. And tonight, I felt like they showed themselves to be incapable.
All right. So here's my take.
Love you, Brian.
Here's my take. Very, very simple. The wrestling in varying spots was better on one show or the other. It's how we got to a tie here. You have, and check the tape, Rob, because I can't believe you're forgetting some of this stuff. We always ask for, after a pay-per-view, to have kind of a reset or direction, or show us where you're going to go, or show us what the next storylines are and how you're going to play out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
AEW did that in spades tonight. The Bucks called their shot. Whether you like it or not, they called their shot. The MJF and Inner Circle is going to the next chapter. We knew it was, especially because he won there. Again, whether you like it or not, we found out that Cody and Darby, Starks wants a shot there. Fucknuts Cage is getting involved. So is Hobbs. So we see an evolution there.
I feel like you're contradicting yourself right now.
No,
A little bit. I know. Let him go. I love it.
no. I'm saying, so all of these stories, whether you like them or not, progress tonight. You have Leon Ruff on the other side. That's a huge progression of the story there. No question. Escobar and Atlas, nothing was done there. McAfee, this is just a stall till Undisputed gets back. There was no EO. There was no title hunt there. You did show that Candice and Indy were aligned. They already were aligned. We already knew that. Thatcher and Loomis, come on, man.
We didn't know that.
Who gives a shit? And that now we find out that Grimes and Loomis are going to continue their fight. I like what NXT put together. But AEW is the clear winner in the overall category to me.
Wow.
I know you both voted NXT, but I don't know how. They didn't, even if you don't like what AEW did with the booking, they did do bookings of storylines and progression tonight.
I really wish I would have took notes while you were talking, because I'm not going to be able to address all the absolute bullshit to dispute out of your hole. Dude.
Cover whatever you remember.
You spent the first 3/4 of this show talking about how all the stuff on AEW was not moving anything forward. And now you're saying, oh, AEW moved everything forward.
No, that's not what I said.
Check the tape, bro.
I did at the beginning. I did at the beginning say that they're not doing anything forward. And I did just say this 100 times a second ago.
No.
I don't like it, what they did to move forward, but they did try to move these stories forward.
They're all the same.
I don't feel that NXT tried to move anything forward.
Okay.
Outside of Leon Ruff.
Leon Ruff.
Indy Hartwell was already revealed to me.
Leon Ruff, they're continuing the storyline on the Xia Li thing. That continued and elevated in a way.
Which I clearly checked the tape. They had no clue about when we talked about it.
That's not their fault.
That's true.
And again, the Indy Hartwell thing, no, you knew, Adam. You assumed that was the situation, but you didn't know that. I didn't know that. Plenty of other people didn't know it was her.
Did you know Dominic Dijakovic is...
Okay.
I mean, come on. We knew that, man.
No, I'm telling you right now.
She fit the bill.
I'm telling you right now.
Her hands.
I'm telling you right now, I did not know it was her. And I don't think that I'm some unique fucking mouth breather in that. I think that many other people probably
did you know it was her?
Anyway,
we'll find out.
So I fundamentally disagree with the fact you're saying NXT totally moved everything in a progressive way. And even in the main event, as they were continuing to push the War Games angle, and I agree, McAfee, shut up. But they went back and readdressed the former tag teams. So they went back to tie up a loose end, as well as advancing the story.
They tied up a loose end. They didn't announce anything big on the horizon other than Finn Balor next week.
No, but this is their second week solidifying themselves as a faction.
I'm not talking about just them. I'm talking about the overall product as a whole.
Yeah, overall product as a whole is moving forward.
Well, you guys outvoted me. NXT's the winner. You guys outvoted me. I'm just telling you, my vote went to AEW and why.
I want you to understand
and I
why.
heard you.
I want you to understand why you're wrong.
Oh, I'm not wrong.
I voted for AEW.
Yeah, you're totally wrong.
Oh, Brian, you switched seats?
No, what are you talking about?
No,
I
he said
voted for
AEW. See, look, you
you
don't know what you said earlier.
AEW
you don't
won.
remember what
Rob
he said
lost.
earlier.
That's all we need to know.
You're so full of shit, man.
Marked out moments for both shows, and we've got Pettytown. I don't like what AEW did, but I thought they tried to progress their storylines, especially after a pay-per-view. NXT did not do that. They still have not set up what they need to.
Yeah.
Everything was kind of stalled. It's still neutral there. Undisputed didn't show up at the end. Io and Rhea didn't come to blows. Finn didn't address anything there.
No, we know.
There's a lot. Yeah, sorry, you're wrong.
Yeah, do your marked out. Whatever.
So my marked out for NXT is Finn next week because that's the most I want to find out what the hell is going on with anything there.
Wow.
And then my marked out for AEW, man, Pac. I know we kind of knew he was coming, but come on, man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah. All right, so I know you guys are probably going to hate this, but you know what? I'm going to give it to the Young Bucks. I marked out for the Young Bucks on AEW side. Okay.
What made you mark out them just on the screen? Because they didn't say anything mark out worthy, even if you're a big fan.
Just their general appearance, just all the frills and the fringes that they have.
Fringes.
They stood in the doorway of a locker room.
Fringes of fans.
Yeah. No, and they have new merch. Did you see their new merch? Okay, they're merch freaks. No, I'm just gonna give my award to them because I know
I need to buzz you twice.
grinds both your gears. And let's see, marked out moment on the NXT side. I guess Indy Hartwell.
Oh my god!
Right?
My god!
Guess I'll give you a coin.
My god, you two. I don't know what y'all been smoking, but I thought I was on a good wavelength. No, dude, the marked out moment for NXT is undoubtedly 100%. Fucking Leon Roof, whatever.
Roof.
I think because of the spoil, it didn't make me mark out as much,
No, I don't know. It's absolutely, whether it was spoiled or not, it was the mark out moment of fucking the night for NXT. Johnny Gargano gets fucking 1, 2, 3 kidded, and then the kid's fucking belt doesn't even fit around his fucking waist, and then takes a fucking selfie with Triple H while the belt's sitting by his feet and H is pointing at it. I mean, dude.
I showed you that.
Come on, bro. So, my marked out for AEW is actually kind of a joint marked out. It's actually it is. It's for AEW. Is it? They had me locked in between a sexy sandwich of wrestling at the same time.
Would you say they had you at a Careless Whisper?
I would say that they had me at an overload. I'm so glad I'm getting a vasectomy in 2 weeks.
Whew. Wait, what?
Oh yeah, I am.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian.
You didn't tell me that.
I didn't know that was a public conversation.
You're not around, Brian. We don't have these conversations on the air.
Did Adam know?
You're not our boy.
You remember how much I tell you I hate my kids? Well, then you should be able to work this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Did Adam know?
Of course I did.
Adam.
I mean, I don't think I told him the date.
Wow.
But yeah.
No. Okay. No, it's okay.
Choppy pee-pee.
Yeah.
No, it's
All right, Will Wagner's marked out. Leo Rush's stunt double on NXT. You dick. And on AEW, he says going to Vegas. Okay, great. Let's see. Stike says marked out Rhea versus Io and Finn next week. See, he's with me. It was marked out for next week. And AEW Scorpio Sky. Oh, they're already on to Pettytown, so I'll do mine real quick.
Won't you take me to
AEW challenging people that are not going to win. Awesome. Good storylines. And Indy Hartwell, the reveal. And let's not also forget, not just the reveal. Did you watch when she was kicking Toni Storm in the corner? Oh, my God.
She's green, man.
You can still sell it. I think she couldn't in the outfit is my only pass I'm going to give her. That's why it's petty and not a big thing. Rob.
My petty town for AEW is going to be a combination of Taz and Eddie Kingston. I'm sorry, but WWE does a lot of things wrong, but they do some things right. And one of the things they do right is, yeah, we know you like to talk. That doesn't mean you always get to talk. If you want to talk, if you're involved in the segment, we'll put you on commentary, and you can contribute that way. Eddie Kingston and Taz did not need to do their promos this week. They do not need to be on the mic every week. They just do fucking not. They are not Jake the fucking Snake. You know, there is nothing poetic.
They should be like him, absent.
Yeah, there's nothing poetic about what they're doing. You know, The Rock would come out and talk to us every week. It was fun. It was poetic. This is just growling, and you can do that on commentary. That's my petty town for AEW. My petty town for NXT is going to be that you put Loomis and Thatcher together. Wow, if you were like, hey, let's pick two guys on the roster that most people aren't really interested in, that are not going to make any kind of a fun, entertaining storyline, and let's throw them in a program.
Where are my coins?
This is what you're doing with these two NXT. I mean, thank you for. I can now ignore both of them at the same time. So,
which we did.
This is Roderick Strong. I approve this.
So you get a coin and a Roddy.
Wow. All right.
Brian, you know what you get?
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Petty's Brian.
Brian, what's your petty?
This is actually a
Nothing.
positive
What the
petty
fuck?
award. I don't think we rarely have this. So my petty award is the Ty Conti match with Red Velvet, of course. It was too short. That match should have been like an Iron Woman match.
Rob
right?
couldn't last much longer, Brian.
It should have been like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 67 minutes. I don't know.
You must be building your stamina down there in the cave.
Well, you know, times are tough, things are dry. So, and on the NXT side, I'm gonna have to still go with I'm just not sold on Pat McAfee. Again, he's doing a good job with like his promos and whatnot. I'm just not. I'm not buying it. I just want someone else in there.
You're not buying it.
Not
On the
buying
board, Petty Towns, Will Wagner. I never look forward to seeing or hearing Fondancer. He doesn't like Fandango. That's his petty. Wow.
I'm your fango dancer.
And his petty for AEW, all the
name.
promos from the EVP and yet no Hangman Page. All the garbage promos. All the sandwiches are sexy if you do them right. I don't know. He's trailing off. I don't know what the hell.
No.
Stike, Petty Town, AEW, no Brit. And NXT, it's obvious. It was Cameron Grimes, he says.
Cameron Grimes. Woo!
We need to see if we can get him on a soundbite.
Woohoo!
Oh, he would be a good one. So real quick, I want to go back and talk a little bit, Brian, now that we've discussed the whole show. Mox had his usual promo there tonight. Kenny in the parking lot, a couple quick bullet points that I want to discuss. He said, "You've never beat me in a straight-up match. It's always been a gimmick one." So I'm looking forward to that. He also name-dropped the cleaner and some of the other gimmicks and focused on his... I mean, hey, Brian...
Yeah.
What the hell was he here? I mean, he didn't feel heelish. He didn't feel facious. He didn't feel tweener.
Very heel.
Did he?
Yeah.
He
I
felt
think this is his
cocky,
version
but
of-
is cocky
Yeah.
heel?
Yeah.
Yeah. In Kenny Omega's world, yeah, it definitely is.
Okay.
I could definitely see him.
I was the
he's
best-
definitely going that way.
I was the best in the world. I was doing 7-star matches. I'm deciding to be relevant again. No, 100 fucking 25,000% heel.
Okay, so if he's a heel, but does cocky always translate to heel?
No.
Okay, but here it does.
Absolutely.
Is what you're saying.
I would say 75% of the time, I think it does.
It may.
This time, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kenny's the heel. Mox is the anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny's going to have a heel champion run. Is that where we're going with this?
Looks like it. I think so.
And then Hangman comes in as the face?
Probably. The only thing that's kind
Is
of curious
Hangman
though
ranked
is that
number one?
with what'd you say?
Is Hangman ranked number two? I mean,
Ahead of Sean Spears.
I don't think he is. No, I don't know. No, Sean Spears isn't even in the rankings. I don't
why
see
is
him
the
in top
board
five.
talking about Dolph Lundgren and Dolph Ziggler?
Who's the better Dolph?
Oh,
But how are they going
Lundgren.
to make Kenny be heel with like all the video game stuff coming out? Don't you think? I mean, he's going to be the guy that's going to be doing a lot of promos and talking about it and stuff. Do you
know,
do you
right
think
as you're
he's
saying
a
that,
babyface, or
Brian,
is that
think about Stephanie. She was a bitch, and then you see her on social media, promoting women and donating to schools and, working with children. And I don't know. I think that most people understand the difference. Kenny Omega, the person, is a humanitarian level, whatever.
so he needs to marry Triple H? Got it.
He's goofy enough.
I got a final thought.
Okay.
All right. Final thought.
Happy birthday to the girl who recorded that. Thank you.
Yes, 10 years old. I want everyone to get a pen and write this down or type it into your fucking scratch pad on your computer, wherever you're at. It is whistleblower at ronjohnson.senate.gov. Again, whistleblower at ronjohnson.senate.gov. He's looking for postal workers that want to blow the whistle on voter fraud. So, internet, you know what to do. Go online. Well, maybe you don't know this. I would recommend going online, going to the Google Images, saving a picture of somebody's junk on elephantitis, and email that to that address, whistleblower at ronjohnson.senate.gov. That's my
And if you
final
want
thought.
more stuff like that, follow Rob's political account on Twitter. He has 3 followers.
I
Yeah.
do.
Or just search Lemon Party. Lemon Party.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Bob!
All right.
Goatsy.
Look, you're employing Brian. I'm looking at him. He just slouched off to the side of his camera. He's got his finger on his face like, oh, here goes Rob with political stuff. I mean,
That's all I had to say. I'm done.
Yeah, you always say that.
We're running late. No, that's it. We're like 30 minutes over.
Yeah, Rob, he was trying to cut us off. That's why he played the fucking music.
Oh,
Yeah,
we went
we're
long?
30 minutes over. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
You know,
Sorry
it's
for
nice. It's
having
fun when
some
you talk
fun
about it.
tonight.
No, I enjoyed it. It was fun.
It's not raw. I mean, we had talks.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, All Elite Hour will be out whenever Brian feels like it. On Monday, we'll be back. We'll try to make that show fun regardless of what Raw does. DP says he's going to make a game for us. I'm just confirming that now by volunteering him again.
Make sure you hit the button, subscribe,
Hit
like.
the button, subscribe, like, share,
Smash it.
tell a friend, tell Phil. Thank you, Phil. Anybody else out there, tune in next time. Same smart time, same smart channel.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Marked Out Podcast
Podcast is distributed
and is recorded live from Charlotte, North Carolina. Subscribe, follow, and listen to us live following WWE programming on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Download the podcast by following us at podbean.com or subscribe on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. While you're there, go ahead and give us an honest and fair review and rating. Finally, if you have enjoyed our product and would like to see us grow, please donate to us by visiting the donation link below our live video, or you can donate via Venmo and Cash App at the handle Ravepro. That's RAVEPRO.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.